To file a protective order, you hire a lawyer. That lawyer is going to file what's called a petition for injunction or protection against domestic violence. It's a thing the court takes very, very seriously. Once we file, we're going to get an answer from the judge within 2 to 3 hours typically. If a temporary injunction is granted, deputies are going to show up at your house that same day to remove the violent perpetrator. To qualify for a domestic violence injunction, you have to hit the two elements. First element is domestic. You cannot get a domestic violence injunction against your neighbor just because you don't like them. It must be someone that is related by blood or marriage or someone that you resided with. So yes, a roommate could qualify for a domestic violence injunction. A roommate could qualify for a domestic violence injunction, or the parent of your child or a relative. The key is hitting that domestic. Then there must be violence. So keep in mind that you must have been either a victim of or are an imminent risk of being a domestic violence victim to obtain an injunction. And when I say violence, I do mean physical violence. I know there's a lot about emotional trauma and emotional violence. That does not qualify for an injunction. You must be either a victim of physical domestic violence or an imminent risk. And when I say imminent, I mean immediately. Not if someone says, if you don't do this, I'm going to beat you up. That's not imminent. It means right now, I'm coming over and I'm going to do this. Then get the injunction. If a temporary injunction or a permanent injunction is violated, that person's likely going to jail. If the police show up and they're still there, they're going to jail on the spot. Otherwise, you can file a motion to enforce the injunction and the judge has the opportunity to put them in jail. What's important is to gather your proof and to save it. If you are a victim of domestic violence, get a Ring camera. It's not that much. You need proof. As I always say, court is not about the truth. It is about the truth that you can prove. Arm yourself with proof. Be ready to protect yourself. I'm often asked how long an injunction remains in place. When a case is first filed, the court may enter a temporary injunction. There is a legal requirement that there is a hearing on that injunction within 15 days. The injunction expires at that hearing. It is then the judge's choice, based on the evidence or based on the party's request, whether to extend that injunction. But again, that's only a temporary injunction. If there is a full hearing, court is very binary for domestic violence. It's either granted or denied. There is no middle ground. If an injunction is granted, it is typically granted for 1 or 2 years. Once that is about to expire, the person who is protected by the injunction has the opportunity to file to request an extension of the injunction. Additionally, the person who the injunction is entered against can file at any time to set aside the injunction. What is important is that you have an attorney on your behalf that can fight for your right to be safe. I strongly encourage anyone seeking a protective order or domestic violence injunction to have an attorney. We have had clients that try to do those on their own and they just don't work. You must hit the elements. You cannot tell the judge your life story. The longer your request for injunction is, the less likelihood that it's going to get granted. Talking about something he or she said mean to you from 3 years ago and giving this whole diatribe, it's not going to work. You must keep it simple, to the point, and hit the elements. If you need a protection order, call us today or go to tampadivorce.com, tampadivorce.com, tampadivorce.com.